Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Welcome to fun and light summer program. That for August, I'm going to use this sheng, one single character, pair it with another Chinese character to make 31 days of different meanings to show you the capacity of Chinese characters, how they can transform themselves into different meanings by just pairing with different characters. All right, so sheng looks like this. This is the look, original look. This is simplified. And I'm showing you both the tree symbol and the grass in Chinese to see the commonalities here. This trident looking thing, that's some life growing. And these are different forms of life, different plants. So here is generic plant growing in the soil. This is our soil symbol. If you want to know more, check out the July 10th video. And today we're going to pair it with 字 in 生字. That's Chinese way to say vocabulary or new vocab, more specifically, because 生 here in this expression actually means unknown. Well, 生 came from life, right? It's simply a plant growing in the soil. Why it becomes unknown? I would imagine there are so many lives growing on this planet, sharing the places. The same planet with us, not like only a very, 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 very small percentage of all that beings are what's known to us or we ever talked with or interact with, right? Majority of them are unknown, but they are living beings. So sheng, in this case, actually was referring to the majority of unknown living things and extended into non-living things as well, as in this pairing of with word. Word is not I guess a word we can regard it as a living thing as well, because it does have a history, a life cycle of its own. And what you're seeing right now, 生字, like these two Chinese characters, we can view them as survivors of thousands of years of evolution and survival of the fittest, applying to culture, to text as well. Not all the characters made it to today. A lot of them, sink into the darkness, into the abyss of history. People don't use it anymore. It's forgotten, or different forms of it, different ways of writing it disappeared. Like these are ancient ways. Ancient in relative to today. It's a certain point of ancient. It's not all the way straight to the ancient. But here it shows you the structure that the contemporary simplified, sanitized version of Chinese are not going to show you. That's why I'm going to the original, the original relative, right? In the formation to make meaning. So like the plant growing here, this would make more sense than this. I don't know who add that stroke there. It doesn't make sense to me. And the 字, I can see, okay, here, this is 字. It means word, but originally it doesn't mean word at all. It means a baby. We have this big circular head, two outreached arms, and one torso without legs, because that's a pre-walking infant image depicted here. It's big-headed, and the arms can be used at a body language babies can use to communicate, right? Pre their speaking or walking capacity. So 1-year-olds basically, before 1-year-old baby, and then the arch with a chimney on the top that shows a domestic space. That's your personal domestic space. With doors and all that. So it's a safe shelter. It's a family life over there. So this home with baby, what kind of picture comes to your mind? In a time when fertility rate per woman keeps dropping, right? It used to be like the balance point of people come and go and equal babies born into the world and people departing from the world. If we want to fill the tank of human population equal, that rate of fertility rate per woman giving birth through her lifetime on average is 2.1. And now it's dropping across, right? So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're pretty known to this population trend now. So this domestic space with baby in it, it was very much valued back then as it is now, especially when this is not a common thing anymore. There's this 2.1, we can hardly hold it to that standard. Population not dwindling on any side, whatever spheres, hemispheres, to cut it, the globe into, look, it's happening. So originally, that means giving birth to baby. It's very direct, right? Baby underneath domestic space. Then eventually people attach meaning like love, like bring up, like raise, like govern to the same character. Because I guess after you give birth, you have to raise him, have to educate, cultivate, discipline, love him or her, right? That's like a natural logical extension for giving birth. And then eventually people use it, it becomes abstract. It's not a physical human living thing. It becomes metaphysical text. It becomes text. Here's what I perceive. How? Because it's part of the upbringing of a child. Given that in the past, not every child born into a domestic space have equal opportunity to get literacy. Not everybody have that. We have to say that. For families who are well-to-do and who are kind of like a governing, like a non-farming population, they are going to survive by contributing by other skills, non-farming skills, which is reading, write, influencing people, right? Communicating with, be part of the governing mechanism there. So for that kind of family, they are going to fundraise, not exactly crowdsourcing, but family sourcing, I would say, like people holding the same family names, they are going to contribute, like pitch in the money, build school to make sure their future generations are educated. Therefore, they have a better chance to get picked or get, pass national exams. Like that system established over 1,000 years ago in China. Everybody got tested same way, but of course the judge or whoever the test result or the scorers of the test are the previous generations of scholars. So they supposedly have the similar taste, therefore give you a relatively subjectively objective score, and then you make it through the ranks, right? Because you're certified, like you can read and write, influence people. So that concept of educating people, like once you bring in a baby under the roof, that's only the beginning of the journey of the bringing in the baby. You have to educate, and through education, this text reading, read and write, that becomes like a major core, almost like the medium of education. How are you going to educate? It's by read and write most of the time, right? Speak and listening, of course, but read and write as well. So this then eventually associate with word. And now, ancient times, we have wen and the zi. Few episodes ago, I talked about wen, which looks just like a Google Translate icon. That wen, that one dot, one horizontal line, and a cross. I should spatially do this. One dot, one horizontal line, across. I'm pretty sure you've seen that icon. Whenever you use translation app, that icon is showing there. So one is letter A, one is this wen, and that means single character. Things like fire or air, the few episodes we talked about, that's a physical depiction of water, right? Such natural elements, phenomena that we see, those are depicted in wen. And wen came from this crack or lines preserved through turquoise carving thing or bronze cast metal piece. That's how we preserve the letters from before. And probably for ancient people, or even more ancient people, leave the traces of letters with them, right? That's legacy from previous generations, and they regard that as wen. Versus 字. 字 is the kind of this combination, like it's two different parts combined together to form new meaning. So when it's a single icon by itself, mostly natural phenomenon, and the 字 is become like a combination and also attached to human living context. That meaning is not as simple as water, fire, soil, that kind of thing anymore. It becomes more contextualized to human life here, baby under the roof, like that. So that's two parts. And a lot of times it's one of the parts that more oriented toward meaning, the kind of essential core meaning of that. And the second part of it, or multitudes of parts of it, adds to it, make nuances, kind of twist it, define it further to give more specifications of that character. And that oftentimes also act as the sound maker. Therefore, we have 形声字, which is the shape or the look or the meaning, 形, and then 声, the sound of it. So meaning maker, sound maker. But in my view, all of them are meaning maker. These are not randomly picked character just to make, pairing. The reason why it's chosen is intentionally chosen to make meaning, because it has meaning as well as sound. Therefore, it's both sound makers and meaning maker combined to create 字. And eventually people don't distinguish that anymore. Wen and 字, they're the same. But now 字, we know it started by having at least a two-part combination of things. So that becomes like a humans create original icons, and then our life gets complicated. We create combinations of existing icons to make derived meaning, like a more complicated, nuanced meaning to it. And that's how Chinese culture build one layer upon a layer, and then you see now it's like two different characters combined to make the third layer. So it's like a derivative, second derivative of meanings. Okay, so that's 生字, that means unknown word for you, and I translate as vocabulary. And ironically, I put this blah 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 sign. I remember my first time came across blah as an English expression. I'm like, what? Because of course, this blah, blah, blah is an English expression that's not really in a textbook. So I was not taught bookish English. I didn't learn that until it show up too much in life now. Okay, so that's 生字. Can you thinking about what word today was so easy on that today?